Hi and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to American Perspective with me, Patriot Mom 007. And today we're really lucky. We have a couple guests on with us. We have Joey Gilbert from Nevada. He was the candidate for governor. There's a lot going on down there, and I should say over there. And also Noah Malgeri. He was running for U.S. Congress seat in the 3rd District. So thank you guys for coming on today.
Great to be with you. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
Wonderful.
So let's get right into it, because I know you guys are so busy, as all the candidates these days are, because of things that are happening, even post-election, as did in Nevada. Let's see, what can you tell us? Let's start with Joey, because I know that you filed a lawsuit last week or Tuesday perhaps. They started a recount yesterday, and let's hear how that is going, since we did one in Arizona, which I was actually a part of myself for 3 months, so I'm pretty familiar with this. Let's see how they're doing it out there.
Well, we're jumping ahead a little bit. There's been no lawsuits filed yet. All we've done so far is request a recount, which is underway and probably done. If not, it'll be done by late tomorrow at the latest Monday. Outside of that, we're going to wait for this recount. I don't expect to see much of a difference in the recount, because as you're quite aware, if they're just recounting the same ballots that
Right.
were injected in or brought in or otherwise trafficked in, however that is, and then they're putting them through the same machines that are, pre-programmed
Right.
for a certain result, you're going to get that same result. So
Yep.
again, we're not really expecting too much there. However, we are going to go through the process, and we're going to be preparing, the entire time for, to contest the election, which we absolutely intend to do. Because as I've said, numerous times this past week, I definitely had concerns on election night. We went into election night so confident, and as we were piling up victories in every county, there was a point where we're winning 15 out of 17 counties. Things just went sideways, and we knew something happened. And so I'd always said something didn't smell right. But in the last about 72 hours, I got to see the data, and whatever you want to believe, you can believe. Data doesn't lie. And when I saw that, I was blown away to learn that we not only did we win the state by a landslide, but we won Clark County. And that's just because the people have had enough. And so people aren't going to stand up. They're not going to stand anymore for this, having their vote ignored, and for corrupt, broken elections. They can't be elections. They can't be selections. They got to be elections. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to do the recount, contest it, and then we'll see where we end up.
And do you have some support from your legislature or any Republicans out there supporting this to help you get this to happen?
Well, I'm not really counting on the Republican Party to do much, or any establishment party. This is kind of it's a guy who's the man of the people, for the people, fighting for we the people versus the establishment.
Right.
They wanted to put someone else in, and they do this by any and all means necessary, including if it's a terrible candidate who has no chance to actually win, the general. They don't care. It's all about what they want and what's best for them. So I'm not looking for any other support but support from the people of the state, my supporters, some patriots that have stepped up long ago, like Robert Beatles and others. And I think, and obviously guys like Noah, who also just went through a similar situation. We're all going to band together, work together, and fight for this country and fight for fair and free elections, because as we've said many times, and as Beatles coined the phrase a while ago, but I'll definitely steal it, we fix our elections, we fix everything. It's really that simple.
It's 100%. So I know you were a little short on time, you mentioned earlier, so let's tell people where they can go to help this cause. Is there somewhere, are you looking for any type of outside help from the state?
Are they funding anything? It takes fuel to push the machine, and right now it really is the people against the establishment. We're done with the lies. So you go to Gilbert for Governor. I still have my website, Gilbert for Governor. I have not conceded. Okay. And my Facebook pages you can find me on. We're setting up some other things, but right now that's the easiest way to get a hold of me, get in contact with us, and send in a contribution. I know Beatles also has the franklinproject.com, where folks can check on there. That's an entity organization he's working through. So the franklinproject.com, just spelled out, or Gilbert for Governor, and any support or contributions would be greatly appreciated. And more importantly, get in the fight, share the information. start spreading out there what's really happened. And that's just as important as getting it, get the information out there, share it with like-minded friends.
Okay, that sounds great. I appreciate you giving us that information. For those of you who don't know about Joey Gilbert, real quick background on him. He's the chairman of the board to Frontline Doctors. So a lot of you may be familiar with that group. It's a valuable group here. And we thank you for that. Also, he has some background in as an attorney. He actually was a middleweight boxing champion too. The guy's well versed in a lot of areas, obviously. So I think I'm frozen on screen, but I think you can still hear me. He is fighting for our right to keep our freedoms in America. I think we're all fighting for that in our own way. He's doing it a little bit more in the public eye with what just happened in Nevada and the governor's race. So we know here in Arizona that there's a lot of issues with these elections, and we all have to help when we can. If you're in Nevada, check out his websites. We're going to put them up later so you guys can go to them and see what you can do, if anything, in your state or their state. Get involved, understand what's happening, don't give up the fight, and don't let what they do make you quit, because that's just not good for us. So what else would you like to share with us, Joey? Because I know you are on a short time frame, and then we're going to get to Noah right after that.
Listen, I have a good 15 minutes.
Oh, perfect.
I'm happy to let these guys collaborate. But I would just say, very simply, as I said earlier, and I was starting to say, it's a matter of getting everybody in this fight together. People have got to share this information, and I think enough Americans, I know it's almost 85-90% of Republicans know that these elections are not fair, and that they're selections, and it's starting to tick up more on the Democrat side, and independents, everybody. And so just get in the fight, pay attention. If you've had it, instead of saying I'm never going to vote again, let's fix this thing and get in and help us.
Right, that's 100% correct. And that brings me to Noah, because we spoke yesterday and I've been following his campaign. We met in December last year at a Turning Point event, and he gave me some of his time then. And so I was following him, and I heard that U.S. Congress seat and that race went sideways for him as well. No surprise. Noah, why don't you share a little bit too about what's happening with that? I know you're on a different path after the election, but still with the election integrity issues, we want to know what's going on.
Yeah. No, I mean, so I haven't conceded either, but the reality is this election integrity issue is 100% everything. It's the whole, so what the mainstream media would have you believe, and the Biden administration and our Governor Sisolak administration would have you believe, is that the popular will of the electorate supports policies that include $6 a gallon gas and open border and World War III. That's what they're trying to tell you that we want, because obviously we voted for people who vote for those things, and so that's what we want. The reality is we know that that's completely 100% false. We don't want schools closed for a year. We don't want mandatory vaccines. We don't want an open border. We don't want 25% inflation, and we don't want World War III. Right. But that's what the uniparty permanent predatory class is shoving down our throats, and they're selecting people who will play ball with that agenda and all that comes with it and all that it represents. In reality, when you talk about a schism in the party or a schism, in republicanism, it's really between the grassroots people, freedom-loving, patriotic Americans who just want to be left alone to build their businesses, raise their families, and live their lives, and legacy Republicans who want to cooperate with the Democrat or uniparty agenda, globalist agenda, in order to enrich themselves and their families and secure power for themselves and their families for generations, like the Bidens and others. So that's the people that are sick of it. We don't want Mitch McConnell and others sending dozens of billions of dollars to Ukraine to get us into World War III. We don't want that. But they're going to vote for it. They're going to tell us that's the most important thing in the country. They're going to tell us, Biden already told us there's another pandemic on the way. He announced it. They already know there's another pandemic, which I completely would not be surprised, because once they taste that kind of power that emergency circumstance creates for them, that they get to abuse and exploit, they're not going to be able to let go of that. It's too intoxicating for them. It gives them so much freedom to advance their authoritarian will and continue to strip away our civil liberties. And I got to tell you, we lost our franchise. We're not voting for our leaders now, so it's more like a monarchy that we're in. I mean, it's like a constitutional monarchy, like where the aristocracy picks their successors. That's what we're living in. We don't have a representational democracy. That was the whole entire reason we broke away from England, because we didn't want a monarchy. It was taxation without representation, which is the situation we're in right now, because all the policies that are being passed and sponsored by representatives we didn't elect, right? To a large degree. So we're in a monarchy situation, being ruled by a corrupt aristocracy that doesn't care at all about us. They're happy for us to pay $6 a gallon for gas. They're happy, because that's going to shift us to a green economy or something. And we're not interested in that agenda.
Yeah, and they frankly don't care if a lot of people can't afford that and have to stay home and can't drive. I think they liked keeping people home and out of the daily activities of life, which would include being able to pay attention and take notice of what's happening in their communities to be able to stop these things. And I think they're just pushing people back into their homes. I heard a lady on the news today say from her car window, she's just going to stay home more. Like, I just can't go out. I'm just going to be home and hang out in the summer at my house. I mean, I was like, what? That's crazy. But that's where we're at. And I'm sure that is part of the plan. Oh, I might be coming back on screen, guys. So it is everybody's duty. I'll keep hitting this and driving this home. As a new PC in Arizona, I'm super excited to get out and meet my neighbors, and everyone has to do their part. These things are happening every day in every state. If you don't think they are, I am having Joey and Noah on today, and also a third guest I'll get introduced here in a second. And I have them on because it's not just Arizona we have to worry about. We have to worry about all our states working together with the people who understand the backdoor issues that others are creating to slip in irregularities, fraudulent ballots here in Arizona that I saw firsthand. I mean, I counted probably, 500,000 ballots over a 3-month period. So I saw a lot of stuff firsthand. And so we all need to pay attention a little bit more closely because everything is slipping very quickly. And the landslide, I feel like it's going to be coming pretty quick, more than maybe those who are not paying attention even realize. And it's going to be a problem for a lot of citizens of America who haven't been watching and listening. And so I want to also introduce, thank you for coming today, Mr. Beatles. We have not met. And so thank you for joining us. And you're a big part of what's going on with, I think, Joey's recount efforts and the issues in Nevada in general. So why don't you give us a little bit about what that looks like for you and how you're participating in this process? Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear you just fine. So I guess the process, most of the process, I mean, I've been helping from the shadows, I guess, trying to help conservative, God-fearing people get into office for a couple of decades now. But what we saw happen in 2020 was frightening because everybody we looked to for help and for justice, we were left out in the cold. So I put together a team of some of the most incredible people on the planet. We started digging into what happened into Nevada during the 2020 election, figured out who did it, how they did it, and then we safeguarded and tried to safeguard the best we could the 22 election, the 2022 primary, and kind of monitor exactly what they're doing before the election started, during the election, after the election. We filed lawsuits to make sure that they couldn't kick us out like they did in 2020. Just pretty much monitored the whole thing, saw what they did, documented it all, had our attorneys fire off letters to the Secretary of State and all the commissioners, registered voters, explaining all the issues with the elections and how they couldn't be certified. They certified it anyways. We knew that they would. They stole Joey's election from him, which this isn't hyperbole. We can prove it down to the vote. So, God willing, we'll, after this rigged recount is completed sometime around, this weekend, by next week, hopefully we'll be in front of a constitutional God-fearing judge where we can lay out the case for the contest and show how Joey won and show how the entire election process was completely rigged. And so how did I get involved? I guess it was just through being let down by so many other people. I solve problems for a living. That's what I do. I build things, I fix things, I solve problems, I put my faith in God, and things usually work out really well. So this is no different. Nobody seemed to be doing the right things or what really mattered. And if you look, we're the only ones in the entire state really doing this. And so, like I always say, it's up to God and us. And so we all got involved. We're all doing our own parts. Our team is incredible. The people that you have here on this video are incredible men, that would be amazing in office. And this is not by mistake that, or by accident, that they're not the ones that were, rightfully declared the winners. So I have a feeling very shortly it's going to be very hard for people to deny the corruption in our election process. You can give them an out and say incompetence. The bottom line, they announced the wrong winner in Gilbert's race for sure. We can prove that, and we'll be proving other races as well across the entire state. So this isn't hyperbole. This isn't some kind of crazy crackpot conspiracy theory. This is all only things I can prove. I only say things I can prove 100%. And for anybody that doesn't believe us, we showed the fraud in 2020. There's still a $30,000 bounty out there for anybody who wants to prove us wrong that can. And every single PhD and every single person that's tried have all agreed with us that we're right, including our most recent election results, the fraud, down to the vote, what they did, how they did it. We've already had some of the best and brightest people on the planet confirm our findings. And so you'll be hearing and seeing more from them in the next week.
And OperationSunlight.com, that's your website?
It's for the people. Okay. It's we the people. And there's hundreds of thousands of people across the U.S. on it.
Okay, and tell us, so if people go into OperationSunlight.com, what are they going to find on that website, and how can they get involved?
Yeah, on the website there'll be kind of some of the day-to-day stuff that we're finding throughout Nevada, different issues in Nevada. It's more like a kind of a blog of all the things that we're finding, kind of in live time. I mean, who's doing what, how they're doing it, that type of stuff. How people in the community can get involved and help out.
Okay, that sounds great. So we're glad that you're involved as well. Thank you for joining us today. I haven't met you yet. I think I'll be talking to you a little bit more off camera so I can dive a little bit deeper and then maybe have you back and we'll do some more stuff. So Noah, where are you at? I know after it was called, I'm so disappointed. I'll just say that. First of all, I'm just disappointed, okay? Because I know that you're a good guy. I know that you would have done great for the state of Nevada, but where are we going to take this? So how can we get re-involved so that we can just push forward for yourself and try to continue making a difference? Where do you see that going?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this election is just one element of a bigger fight that's going on, a bigger tension and a bigger struggle that's going on globally and in the United States between freedom, self-determination on one side and authoritarianism, totalitarianism, whatever you want to call it, on the other. COVID was a big part of that, but this battle is going to continue. And actually, it's only going to end one of two ways, because at this point, the folks who are pushing authoritarianism cannot back down. If they suffer a defeat, they have to double down rather than back down because they're too overextended. If regular patriotic Americans, God-fearing, constitutional, freedom-loving Americans take back control, that's an intolerable outcome for the corrupt people who have already done so much criminality, because they'll be held to account for those crimes that they've committed, and they can never let that happen. It's a situation where it's like the more they cheat, the more they have to cheat to maintain it.
That's right.
You have to put the success after you cheat to get your election. The successor has to be willing to not raise any attention to the fact that there was cheating in the previous election. So you have to keep cheating, and the cheating expands and expands and expands. And so election integrity is the fight. I mean, it's the fight right now. I'll be involved in any way I can. I will 100% try to rally support for people to get engaged and volunteer. with this effort to bring some transparency to the pervasive election fraud that's going on in this country, and it's destroying our country, and that's the country our kids are going to inherit. So we have to. I'm going to continue to fight for freedom every single day, whether that means running again, whatever capacity. But to me, this is one of the biggest priorities in my life right now, because it only ends with complete victory for freedom and self-determination, which includes accountability for the crimes that have already been committed, or we lose freedom completely and we're just subjects and we'll do whatever they tell us. And that's the only two options how this ends. And so I'll fight until the battle's done.
That's good to hear, because I'm in it with you. I've got 2 kids as well, 2 sons, and thank God they do not listen to crazy people talk in school. One's a senior, one's 20. So I'm fortunate that as a single mom all these years that they actually subscribe to what mom thinks and believes, and they believe in God and they believe in our country, and they're young and they're getting started, but they definitely want to get involved. And so people like you 3 here, in fact, Joey, I might want to hit you up a little bit for my 17-year-old. He was in awe when I told him I was going to talk to you today, because he's into boxing. So that might be a side little conversation. But yeah, I mean, we need to teach our young men and young women, but just the values that I think 4 of us grew up with. And I know, Noah, you were in the military, and also Joey, you as well. Mr. Beatles, I'm not sure if you were or not. But we thank you for both of your service, of course, and we need more men to want to be involved to the point of saving our country for us, for our children, because in 20 years, 30 years, when we're in our 80s, they're going to be running everything. And we need to bring them up right, because we will be the recipients of whatever they're doing at the moment. So, I mean, it's a long process, and it's a hard process, and we're still fighting it here in Arizona. If you guys saw Monday, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer put out the report he did over the last year. It's up on Rumble on his site. And I saw a lot of it firsthand, and he gave a lot more detail and data, but if you haven't read it, I encourage you to, because maybe, Joey, I don't know, maybe it'll aid you guys in what you're doing, what to look for, things you haven't thought of or seen yet, or where to look, you know what I mean? Maybe it'll pique something. So that might be helpful. Also, I think we all need to talk more together. A lot of people work alone. There's a lot of PACs. There's a lot of individual groups in a lot of cities, and in my neighborhoods too. Everybody meets separately, so we have a lot of Republican groups. I think everybody needs to come together. The more people that come together, the more that can get done quicker, in my opinion. I'm just one person, but I mean, it just makes sense. And we need to cross-share our information. A lot of people want to hold on to their information and then blast it out, have the big reveal, whatever. I don't think anything's important enough to keep it to yourself if you're genuinely trying to save our republic from what the left and some of the right, actually, frankly, to tell you the truth, are doing on a daily basis. So we're fighting at the end of a race, something happens, and then boom, we have to go in there. But they're fighting every day under the radar, right? In the back alleys, in their little clutches in somebody's house. So we too have to be prepared and get a little bit more proactive on my level of citizenship. You guys are in the fight big time already, but all of us down here who are watching need to actually do something. I just became a PC, like I said. It's easy to do. Get involved, knock on your neighbor's doors, know who you live next to, and then talk to them. I just talked to somebody about abortion the other day. I go to college, and I'm in my 3rd year, and I talked to a young girl. She's 20. I work with her on campus, and she asked me about the Roe v. Wade thing. She's not conservative. And we ended up having a 2-hour conversation. She was really, really kind, and I kind of talked to her like a mom, and I kept saying things, and she kept kind of stopping and looking, and I said, did that make you think about something differently? She wouldn't say actually yes. Like, my kids never say yes to that either. But I could see by her reaction that she changed her opinion in a couple areas. So that's what we need to do, I think, is talk with each other and with people who don't believe what we believe or see it the way we see it. Because if you reason it out with them and you give them facts, which is what I did with her, and I told her, just look it up. What I tell you is you can just look everything up. Just like you see the fake news, you can actually find the real news too. So, What else can you tell us about, Joey? I wanted to get back to you real quick. What else can you tell us? The recount isn't just Clark County. I want to get detailed about that.
Oh, no,
it's a
statewide recount.
Okay,
it's
perfect.
underway. It's already completed in some of the smaller counties. I don't know that it's finished yet in Vegas or Washoe.
Okay.
Today.
Are we going to hear about it on some form of media that everybody?
I'm
gets to
sure
hear?
as soon as they get the results, they're going to make sure they blast to everybody that it's the same thing and
Like
what
we
a
did here.
waste. And are you prepared to concede now, Joey Gilbert? And I'm just going to say, I'm just getting started.
Right. Well, if you were
So-
at the cocktail party with Hillary Clinton the last few years ago, she would have told you never concede. So I wasn't at the cocktail party, but it was third-party hearsay like it was for that gal the other night at the January 6th hearing. So I know she said that. So I'm just going to reiterate the don't concede part until,
Well, Donald Trump never conceded. There's various others that haven't. It's just not going down. Like
That's
I
right.
said, I was definitely, Beatles had to give me a little pep talk or two and basically threaten me. But I wasn't feeling so good about it. And he just said, wait till you see the data. And, he's actually never wavered. Actually, it's been at least about 9 months of him saying, you're going to win this thing. You're going to win this thing. Last few months, he told me you're going to win by 20 or 30 points. And then when I finally got to see the data, and when I was in Las Vegas again yesterday, just the support, it just makes makes it feels really good. It makes me feel that look, no matter what, it's not going to change anything. They're still going to deny it and tell us we're a bunch of liars and conspiracy
crazy
theorists,
people,
and election deniers, and big lie stuff. But you can't. One thing I love about data, and it's so funny with Democrats because normally the data doesn't lie. It's not opinionated. It's not biased. It's just right there. You look at it, and so this should be easy. But God only knows what they're about to come at us with. And the nonsense. And again, if you don't get a judge who, like Peter said, is God-fearing, loves the Constitution, if you have simple stuff like that, it's easy to see. And so I don't expect the recount to do anything besides, gaslight.
Let them reaffirm what they are saying is true.
Yeah, and then we'll immediately move to the contest phase. And again, this is all new territory for me. We're bringing in folks, that have done some of this before, and we're talking to people and we're going to, again, like I said, I'm a non-conventional fighter, always was. I will use anything and everything I can, throw everything at this and leave it all in the ring, because this is truly for the life and the soul of our country.
And do we have a chance of having a conservative judge? Or I don't know the Nevada judicial system. I know here in Arizona, it is hit and miss big time. You'd think Arizona would have conservative judges, but I actually have been in the
we've got
courts,
some good judges out here in Nevada. We
Okay.
do. I mean, there's, look,
Can you
we
draw
do.
that?
I can't
Or
say that.
can you petition
There's
with
some that I might even disagree with politically that have been extremely fair. And I've been practicing in Nevada courtrooms since 2004 and 5, and the judges are like nothing else. So, you get bad attorneys, bad doctors,
true.
bad lawyers, bad dentists, bad teachers. You have bad judges.
That's right.
Same thing goes. Corrupt judges, corrupt, lawyers, corrupt dentists. It's, it's in the same thing. I'd like to think that there's less than that, at least in our judiciary. But like I said, there's bad apples everywhere. But there's a lot of good Nevada judges.
So we just need to pray that God has a hand in all of the things that are going to be taking and unfolding in the future for this race, for your recount, and for really the state of Nevada. I mean, Nevada is kind of a slippery slope anyway, as far as states go, what they promote there. Not that I don't love Vegas, because I do love Vegas. But, there's some underdealings too. Let's just be realistic. In that city as well as others, that's where it started. A lot of the bosses, were there, and I don't know that corporation has left the state of Nevada. I think a lot of them still are running around dealing in the back rooms. So it's important that you guys are out there. We appreciate very much not only your service, Joey and Noah, but your time today, and Mr. Beatles as well. Appreciate you coming in. And so I just want to say that we're going to keep watching the race. We're going to keep watching Nevada. If you guys wouldn't mind getting me the information, we'd like to put it out in writing once it comes out. Once anything actually, we'd like to put out, because not everybody else, even Fox doesn't put everything out anymore. Like, it's pretty disappointing. They pick and choose what they're saying, and that's unfortunate. But luckily, I know a lot of other citizen journalists, and I'm sure you guys do too. If we all band together, together, I feel like we can get the information out maybe better than the big stations, because a lot of people are turning away from them and turning to us. And that's really the goal here, is to get true and honest information out. And if that is in our favor, fantastic. But you know what? If it's not, we still say it, because that's what true and honest means, is all the information, not picking and choosing. So let's talk where people can find any one of you. If you can all give us your websites again. Joey?
Just gilbertforgovernor.com, going gilbertforgovernor.com or joeygilbert.com.
Okay. And Mr. Beatles, if they want to find your organization or be on the chats with everybody and get involved in watching what you're doing, where can they find you?
Yeah, operationsunlight.com. Again, operationsunlight.com, or you can find me on Gab at Robert Beatles.
Okay, and Noah, I know that you're not running for now. Maybe we'll see you again in the future. I hope we do, because I know you'd be valuable to that state. Every one of these guys you can find on their channels, of course, with most people these days in 2022. Facebook, Twitter, Getter, Instagram, Rumble, YouTube, and check out their YouTube channels, actually, because there's some really great videos I was watching this week. So they're good guys. They're in love with America, like I am in love with America. And I think many of the people in the United States are in love with America, or they wouldn't be here. I mean, if it was that bad, none of us would be here. So we need to keep it great. We need to keep it honest, and we definitely need to keep it free for us and for our children in the future. So thank you guys for joining me. I didn't know Joey and I didn't know Mr. Beetle, so I really appreciate that, because I could be anybody on the street. So thanks for trusting me with your time. I do appreciate that. Obviously, Noah didn't say anything negative about me, or you wouldn't be here. So did you prop me up, Noah, or did you not?
Oh, I mean, I just, like you said, true and honest. You prop yourself up.
Oh, there you go. So, yeah, just watch my stuff on YouTube. You can see what I do. I mean, I'm pretty transparent. I'm not the loudest voice, but I definitely have a strong opinion about all of this. And I'm frozen on screen for the majority of this, but you can hear me, but you can see I'm in red, white, blue. It's 4th of July holiday. Independence Day is coming up, and that's how we would like to keep it. Independent people running around our country doing what we want within the law. I think that's just for everybody's sake. This is Patriot Mom 007. You're watching American Perspective, and I really appreciate you tuning in on my YouTube channel, but find me also on Instagram, Facebook, Getter, Clout Hub, and Truth Social, all the regular channels. So thanks again, you guys, and
take care.
hopefully we can all regroup, and I think we're gonna cut here, but hopefully we can all regroup. Joey, I definitely want to hear what's going on. We'll want details for sure. No, I'll just keep in touch with you. In
Sounds
general,
good.
Rachel.
We'll keep in touch with you.
Hi, this is Patriot Mom 007. Thanks for joining me for American Perspective with Noah Malgeri, Joey Bishop, and Mr. Robert Beatles, who joined us as a surprise to me. But we're glad we had him, and we heard all about elections in Nevada from someone in Arizona who dealt with this personally firsthand and volunteered for 3 months to look at our integrity issues. They too are going to be doing the same, and they're in the recount right now statewide. We hope to hear back from Joey soon. He's going to keep us caught up on what is happening there, and we will follow it closely before the general comes up. Hopefully we can get some of these big issues fixed for America and for our freedoms and for the years to come. So we live in a free land. So thanks again. And happy 4th of July, everyone. It's going to be a great weekend. Get out, be with your families, and take care. God bless.